What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. We are back looking at another rugby video today. So today the World Cup pools got announced. So that was quite fun for me to watch during my lunch break. I'll check them on screen for you guys in case you haven't seen them already, the breakdown of how the pool system works. And it's going to be some tough pools coming up in 2023. Pool A, New Zealand, France and Italy. That feels like such a death group for Italy. Italy never managed to have a potential to try and make it through. I don't think they'll beat France, given how well France are performing now, and they've still got 3 years to improve. And New Zealand, of course, is going to be such a tough game. I'm really looking forward to that New Zealand-France game. Obviously, there are other teams still to be announced, but we can probably, if you know a lot about rugby, most of the teams that will get announced from here certainly won't go on to win the World Cup, but they may even be able to get out of the groups if they have a fantastic year. But normally, the teams that you see already on screen are the teams that will make it through the groups, depending on who wins. Group B, South Africa, Ireland, Scotland. Scotland are becoming a lot more consistent, and of course, South Africa haven't been able to play this year at all, but I'm sure in a couple of years, South Africa will have had a bit of time to get back together. To me, that's more than likely going to be I'd say more than likely a South Africa win over an Ireland. I think South Africa have probably got a little bit more about them than Ireland. Currently, Ireland are not where they would want to be. So I think it's going to be a South Africa win. Pool C, the most memorable group in history, it feels like. Wales, Australia, Fiji, the same as it was last World Cup. They don't like mixing up this group. In fact, this is the third World Cup in a row that Wales and Australia will be partnered in a pool together. I don't know whether they need to work on revamping this pool system a little bit of how it works. Maybe they need to have a limit on how many times teams can be in the same pool together in like consecutive World Cups. Like maybe if you did 2 in a row, maybe that third time you like physically couldn't be paired. So whoever was the sort of tier 1 team gets put in that top row. And then if there was a tier 2 team who was yet again going to come in as a tier 2 into the pool stages, they could look at it and say, oh, hang on, they've played for 2 World Cups now. For this third one, that team has to be moved to a different pool stage. I don't know, that's just a thought on my opinion, because there feels like a couple of games here we're going to see again that we did 4 years ago. They're not going to be that much more exciting. And finally, to finish off Pool D, England, Japan, Argentina. To me, that's going to look like a clear England win. I don't think Japan will be able to cope with that England onslaught, especially with Eddie Jones at the helm, having created that Japanese team that can do so well. Argentina are playing really well at the minute, but I'm very worried Argentina are peaking a little bit too early, and I think England will work out a game plan of how to take on Argentina potentially. But a lot of these games are so similar to 4 years ago. Of course, we have New Zealand and Italy in the same group. We have Ireland and Scotland in the same group. Wales, Australia, Fiji is the same group. England and Argentina in the same group. In fact, only 3 teams have moved. If you swap France, South Africa and Japan around, you have last World Cup again. And I feel like that maybe they could do something here to try and make this a little bit more interesting. There are going to be some good games here. I think England, Argentina will be fun. Wales, Australia will probably be the most boring game ever, as they always are between those two sides. It just comes down to who can kick better normally. I'm at this point a little concerned whether Wales would be feeling confident on playing Fiji. I'm sort of hoping Nadolo retires in the next 3 years again in order to secure a chance for Wales to win that one. But I think that's a good game for Fiji to try and target. Ireland and Scotland. Scotland just don't seem to beat Ireland, and going up against South Africa. Looking forward to seeing Scotland, South Africa. It's not a game fixture you get to see a whole bunch, so that will be nice to watch. And then, of course, France versus New Zealand, hosts versus, not technical best in the world on the world rankings, but I think most people would still think of them as the best in the world. So there are going to be some good games. What I'm looking forward to, I actually think New Zealand will win Pool A and South Africa will win Pool B, and that will mean that in the next round it would be France versus South Africa if it went the way I was thinking, and I think that'd be a great game. I'd love to see a current French side versus South Africa to see who would win that game. Again, not a fixture you get to see a whole lot of, but it's just an interesting view to look at this World Cup. I do think they should try and work out a way to not have the same teams play each other, just to make some really interesting fixtures. I don't remember the last time I saw a Scotland versus New Zealand or a France versus Australia game in a World Cup. They just never seem to happen. I would like them to be a little bit jumbled up. But what do you guys think? Do you think they should try and work on this pooling system? Do you think the pools are going to be fun? Who are you rooting for? Who do you think's going to win each pool? I'm super interested to know. Drop it down in the comments comments for me. If you've enjoyed today, guys, make sure you leave it a like. I cannot wait for this Rugby World Cup. It's only 3 years away now. Even less, really. It's getting very close. It's just under 1,000 days. We're getting close to it. I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.